second language isn't because you aren't studying enough, but maybe because you're actually trying to study way too much.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds completely counterintuitive, right? Especially for, an audience used to just optimizing and grinding through information.
Right. We always sort of equate fluency with just massive data consumption.
Exactly, like cramming endless vocab lists.
Well, and that brings us to the mission of today's deep dive. We're looking at a really brief but super practical excerpt from the English is Easy source, and it totally deconstructs that traditional brute force method of language learning.
It really does. It advocates for extreme minimalism instead.
Yeah, it's like watering a houseplant. I mean, if you dump a massive 5-gallon bucket of water on it every Sunday, the roots just drown, right? The
Ah.
water runs off, the plant dies.
Oh, for sure. But if you just miss the leaves for a few minutes every single day, the soil actually absorbs it. And,
Hmm.
the soil in that analogy is our cognitive load.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, so the source highlights this core theme, shifting our mindset away from volume. That anxiety-inducing idea that you need to know everything.
It's so intimidating.
It is. So the emphasis is entirely on consistency, just using what little you actually know every day.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the source takes this minimalism to an extreme that almost feels, I don't know, a bit too simple.
It does seem that way at first glance.
Right, to understand how to tackle the language, we have to strip away that massive dictionary idea. It insists you just need to start with 5 foundational phrases, like literally just 5. Hello, thank you, please, good morning, and how are you?
Which sounds crazy, right?
It kind of does. I mean, it's like building a house. You don't need to buy the entire hardware store on day one.
No, definitely not.
You just need a few sturdy bricks to start the foundation. But still, how does knowing how to say good morning actually move the needle on fluency?
Well, what's fascinating here is the psychological mechanism at play.
Learn.
I mean, it's not about the linguistic complexity of the word hello.
Right.
It's about immediately lowering the barrier to entry for social interaction. When you learn complex grammar in a vacuum, your brain doesn't tag it as essential for survival, you know?
Oh, interesting. So it just discards it.
Exactly. But when you use a polite, simple greeting, you instantly integrate the language into a human exchange. You get immediate positive feedback.
So you're building a social node, basically, not just a vocabulary list.
Precisely. You lower the emotional barrier. You aren't paralyzed by the fear of conjugating a verb wrong. You're just connecting.
Which ties perfectly into the next logical step, embracing mistakes. The source explicitly states not to worry about them because every mistake makes you better.
Yeah, practice over perfection.
Right. And the core strategy they recommend to practice these minimal phrases is literally just 10 minutes a day. Listening to English songs, watching short videos, maybe reading easy stories or speaking out loud.
Which sounds very doable.
It does, but I have to push back slightly here. So what does this all mean? Is 10 minutes really enough to learn a language? Or is this just like a trick to build a daily habit without feeling overwhelmed?
That is a great question. And honestly, it's kind of both.
Really?
Yeah. Physiologically, brief, constant low-stress exposure leverages how memory consolidation works.
Because your brain needs time offline to process it.
Exactly. If you cram for 3 hours, you hit a wall of intense stress. But psychologically, capping it at 10 low-stakes minutes means you never associate the language with dread.
You remove the performance anxiety entirely because you know you're only on the hook for 10 minutes.
Right. And when the pressure's off, you don't mind making those mistakes.
Which shifts the whole process from an exhausting chore to just a normal, frictionless part of your routine.
And that 10-minute daily misting, going back to your plant analogy, compounds over time into real-world confidence. The source reminds us to just keep smiling, keep practicing, and never give up.
Because that's the ultimate payoff, right? The source points out that this consistency unlocks huge, real-world rewards. Traveling without anxiety, making new friends, getting a better job, and genuinely understanding people globally.
It really highlights how we get in our own way. Minimalism and consistency outpace massive, irregular effort almost every time.
It definitely forces you to rethink how you approach big projects. Which leaves you with an interesting outside-the-box question to ponder today.
What's that?
If dedicating just 10 imperfect, low-stress minutes a day is enough to unlock a global language and entirely new career opportunities, what other massive, intimidating life goals might you conquer if you just broke them down into 10-minute, mistake-friendly daily chunks?